If you're thinking about getting a DNA test, one of the questions you probably have is what makes BioAxis reports different to any other company? And that's what this video is about and this series is going to entail. It's going to cover exactly what makes our BioAxis Comprehensive reports unique and why they are a really great way to not only get genetic testing done, but to fully understand what that data means for you and your body. The reality is testing by itself is only as good as your understanding. And at BioAxis, we pride ourselves in giving you really clear insight so you can leave empowered and actually make changes to your everyday lifestyle. So today we're going to go through the first part of our BioAxis report. It's actually going to be the executive summary. So what we're going to understand by the end of today's video is what the executive summary is, why it's structured the way that it is, and finally, how its findings can actually help you not only understand your genetic report, but to make key impacts to change your life. So what we're going to be doing today is going through, again, another sample client's report. This is not a real person. And I've actually got here a couple of other things to help us as well with what we're going to be going through today. Jane Johnson, not a real person. It's just a sample again. But this is an example of the raw data that you get from NutriPATH. This is our partner company over in Melbourne. These guys are exceptional in what they do, and they do such an amazing job at actually running your lab data and doing the tests and providing comprehensive reports on each aspect that we're testing for. This report itself is between 120 and 130 pages, so it's extremely extensive and it's very thorough in its description, which is great, but obviously requires you to go through that entire report. Often it can be overwhelming for somebody, especially if you're not feeling the way that you want to feel. So what the BioAxis report does is it takes all of that data and condenses it down in something more manageable, more understandable, and leave you with the action steps as well. So what the BioAxis DNA report does is to take all of that complex data and synergize it to your key takeaways. So going through the BioAxis DNA report here, again, page 2 goes through how to read and interpret the report. It's designed to be interpreted in unison with that NutriPATH report. They are not designed to be separate entities, so please consider them together. But the BioAxis report is really a great place to start. And as you can see here with the table of contents, the executive summary is what we're going to go through first. So just to give you an outline about the executive summary itself, what it actually aims to do is to take the 3, 4, or in some cases 5 key themes from your big genetic report and present them in a way that you have a really clear understanding at the things that create the biggest difference with your genes. So understanding here with the executive summary, what it actually aims to do is to take the 3, 4, or 5 central themes from your entire report and present them in a clear manner so you know exactly what are the main drivers behind your biological engine. Once you've finished reading through the executive summary, of course it is a summary, so it is not as specific as the further categories on what it actually raises in the summary, but you can go back to where those are further in the report and get more understanding about what those actually are. But again, it outlines exactly what are the main driving points for you. So right from the get-go, right before you read 120, 130 pages of documents, you get a really clear understanding of the stuff that matters most to you, the things that are actually going to create the largest change for you. This is not a one-size-fits-all summary. This is not a generic summary that is just like, this is what genes are, this is what they do. This is derived directly from your data and outlines only the things that are most important for you. So one of the things I love about how it starts is it actually starts from a positive note. It talks about your genetic strengths and the things that you'll be able to harness to actually enhance your overall well-being as you move forward and try and tackle and overcome some problems you might be facing. I love that. A lot of the times when you get health tests, you skim over the good stuff and go straight to what's high, what's low, what's bad. That's not how we roll. We like to look at the strengths and build upon those whilst also addressing the weaknesses as well. So for this person, again, the genetic profile reflects a strong cognitive and structural foundation with several highly protective features. And it goes on to say exactly what those are, which is excellent. So that if you were in this person's shoes, you get your genetic report back, you open this up, and right from the get-go, you're put in a positive frame of mind about what you're good at, what your genes actually support and help you with to move forward. I love how that starts. You can see here it goes on that there are 4 primary biological themes that emerge repeatedly across this person's report. And we're going to go through them together now. So the first one that's the most important, in fact, it's labeled as a central priority for this person, is methylation efficiency. Methylation is the process in which you turn organic matter, so think like foods, supplements, whatever you want to say, it turns that and you ingest it. Methylation is the process in which you turn that stuff into something that's usable in the body, okay? So if you're eating an egg, let's say, eggs aren't made up of egg. It's made up of nutrients and different things and amino acids and all of this sort of stuff. Methylation is the process in which it turns the egg into those things that the body needs to use, okay? So for this person, the efficiency in which your body can do that is a central priority. So it lists some genes that may be associated with why this is an essential priority for this person, and it recommends that this person may have elevated folate requirements, okay? So they might need an increased need for things like B2, B6, folinic acid, a higher need for choline, etc. And again, it says that these are really foundational for this person. This theme itself appears in cardiovascular health, brain health, detoxification, and then DNA protection sections. So again, this is actually referring to the sections in that NutriPATH report in which this methylation theme is coming up. That's a lot of the report. That's probably over 50%. So this, as it clearly says that it's a central priority, is exactly that for this person. So right from the get-go, this is really where someone should start, okay? Going on, it says here, second, that glutathione vulnerability is another recurring pattern. So a lot to do with the immune system, okay? So it says that you're genetically associated with lower glutathione levels and a reduced protection against mercury, mycotoxins, along with a decreased detoxification of other toxins as well. So again, this can be one of those things that can accumulate over time and build up. And for this person, it's particularly important in supporting that glutathione, which is great. Looking at third, we've got choline dependence. It's unusually important for this person, if you can see me highlighting there. It recommends, again, the variants that are associated with this increased dependence. And it says that you might need an increased need for that choline and betaine and how it can actually help with things like REM sleep sensitivity, anxiety modulation, and methylation, okay? And how all of those central themes converge around this one key nutrient. It's pretty amazing for this person because if they don't really know what choline is, of course, it goes through that further on in the report. But if you're looking at the things that will create the largest change, that's a great place to start. Methylation, glutathione, and choline as well, okay? Fourth, we've got here environmental toxin handling. Toxins are one of those things that's probably a topic for another video, but it is interesting that this person is unusually sensitive to those environmental toxins. Again, toxins, once they build up in the body, it can really wreak havoc on how someone feels and how they perform. And because that's particularly important for this person, specific detox strategies, ways to manage that might be more important for this person than the next person, if that makes sense. So interestingly, these themes amplify each other, as it says so here in bold. What I love about looking at this report is it doesn't look at things in a singular motion. It looks at things collectively. The human body is fascinating and it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. And often these themes do interact with each other and often can make each other better, or it can also make each other worse. Moving on here to the non-negotiable priorities for this person. Again, the whole point of the executive summary is to really summarize all the complex stuff into the key takeaways. And this paragraph does it so wonderfully. So a non-negotiable priority for this person is maintaining optimal methylation nutrient intakes. And it gives some examples here. Folate from food, folinic acid, riboflavin, which is B2. We've got here B6, choline, and magnesium. So right there, that could even be taken as a shopping list or things to look into. Again, when it comes to supplementation and things, this is educational in nature and it's important to actually consult your physician just about where your levels are at and what things to take specific to you. But it seems as though based on this person's genetic report, they are key non-negotiable priorities to optimize their health and well-being. You can see here it also says here, while strictly reducing exposure to pesticides, combustion byproducts, heavy metals, and synthetic endocrine disruptors. So you can see here as well, if you weren't adhering to the non-negotiable priority, without that foundation, multiple systems can destabilize simultaneously. So lots of things giving warning signs all at once if you're not looking after these things fundamentally. So right from the first couple of pages, again, the key themes that are most important from this person's report and the non-negotiables as well. The executive summary itself finishes with a failure mode example. So the failure mode example is kind of like an example of when things are going wrong. So when you're living in a way that is opposite to what would be supportive for your genes, how that can actually feel and how that can come up in somebody is what that failure mode example is. Oftentimes, it can be hard to sympathize with what it means to feel good if you're not feeling that way. But this is a really good example of like, wow, I feel bang on the money with what this is saying. If things are going wrong, now I know the things to support and to actually get me out of that situation. So you can see with this person, if you were to follow a refined carbohydrate diet, low in choline and cruciferous vegetables, while consuming conventionally grown produce high in pesticides, etc., you would then have several systems destabilize at once. Over time, this combination could present as fatigue, irritability, digestive stress under adrenaline, and increased long-term cardiovascular strain. But look here, conversely, when you support methylation, glutathione production, choline intake, magnesium status, cruciferous vegetable intake, and toxin avoidance, your APOE 3/3 status, improved neural repair capacity, and toxin avoidance, all of these things together will lead to highly resilient physiology. So again, if you support the things, if I go back here to those non-negotiable priorities, you should create a really strong, robust system in the body. So that's great. Of course, it gives you a worst case, but gives you the hope or the light at the end of the tunnel, which is awesome. So again, here it says here that this person is genetically positioned for strong cognitive longevity, a stable testosterone baseline, an average to improved cardiovascular response to exercise, and solid stress perception. The key is reducing biochemical drag from environmental loads and nutrient depletion. So again, a really clear summary statement for this person to go, okay, I kind of know what to do, I know what can go wrong, and now I understand the key things that affect my body the most. So if you have any questions about the executive summary or DNA testing at large, please comment below this YouTube video. We'd love to get back to you, or you can email us at support@bioaxis.com.au. You can also visit our website, www.bioaxis.com.au, and you'll see the comprehensive DNA test is in our standalone testing section. Or you might even notice we have 12-week health plans as well. The Healthy Body Health Plan actually includes the DNA testing that forms the foundation to that 12-week plan. So if you want someone to help you guide and understand how to actually maximize this stuff, that's the best place to go. But if you just want the test, just want the report, then just buying the comprehensive DNA test by itself is perfect as well. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Stay tuned as we go through the rest of these reports, and we look forward to helping you understand your genetic data soon.